Coming up this week on The Week in Business, the Economic Forum Series and Vanguard Newspapers holds 4th Annual MSME and Startup Summit 2023 at the Civic Centre, Victoria Island, Lagos. Nigerian British Chamber of Commerce holds Energy Group Conference at the NBCC Plaza, Lekki, Phase 1, Lagos. FSDH Asset Management holds investment webinar themed Leveraging the Rise of Digital Investment Platforms. Welcome to this week's edition of The Week in Business, where we share with you some of the major events in the world of business in Nigeria in the past week. I am Taiwo Akinawo. It's great to have you join us on the program today. All right, first on the event highlight for this week is the Economic Forum Series and Vanguard Newspapers MSME and Startup Summit 2023, which held at the Civic Centre, Victoria Island, right here in Lagos, with the strategic theme, the role of alternative financing and digital payment adoption for MSME sustainability and competitiveness, and sub-theme, unlocking the potential of digital payment adoption for MSMEs competitiveness and sustainability.
You see, we're having people move away from devices now. I think we're coming closer to it with the advent of NFC. People are using tap and pay. Use your phone with tap and pay. In some places you can just use your trousers. If something is there, just raise your leg and you get access to where you're going to. Why I'm saying so is, the moment this comes up, what happens to Victor's 1.5 million agents that are having POS terminals? We wake up one morning and hear that POS terminals are no longer employed. And they will be rendered unemployed, and coupled with the number of staff that they have employed because of the advent of terminals. That's also another source of concern, that with the new technology that is coming up every day, we're moving to close to using virtual devices or less on a lot of manual devices that we have.
Whether you like it or not, you'll be coming on board offering one service or the other. I'll give you a typical example, even before we talk about the use case of the e-commerce or marketplace. So today, you are a cobbler. People, you snap your product, you put it on Instagram, right? And somebody calls you and says, I'm interested in this item. So what you do basically is either you collect your money, which is online, or you do offline payment, which is pay on delivery. So what you do typically is to say, you are sending that item to the customer, upon receipt of that item, the customer pays ahead. That is e-commerce, simply put. And that's exactly what the business of SMEs is turning into today. You're packaging garage and wood rice. You are packaging all these local foods that we are selling today. So you are going into the more retail business, but you are putting a bit of digital activity to it. So when that happens, you are definitely growing the ecosystem and you are plugged to the fintech space as well.
Just as the regulators are trying to protect us, we the users also need to be very careful in layman's language. So you mentioned about data protection. So it sounds big, but to us the users, data protection is you keeping your credentials safe. So you have an app, you have your PIN, you know how you log into it. As simple as it seems, please do not allow somebody who's not supposed to have that privilege to have it. Sometimes we see children who even move money from their parents' accounts and we begin to look for the faults. By the time we begin to trace from the back end, it's very, very embarrassing to know that somebody's son or somebody's daughter, plays smart on their mother or their father. So it also goes back to that education. If you know that, so sometimes something very stupid. As we are sitting down here, we know that those of us that use fingerprint to open our phones. So sometimes I'll be engrossed in a conversation and my son will say, Mommy, there's something in your finger. And I won't know he's holding my phone, and he takes my finger and unlocks my phone and puts on my hotspot because I refuse to give data, and he uses it. Then all of a sudden I'm realizing 2 devices, 3 devices, I'm seeing that, and I'm like, who's using my hotspots? And I run around. So if I didn't have that understanding or I didn't have that knowledge, they'll be taking advantage of me. So your credentials, your apps, your phones, please protect them. Because when you protect them, you also make work easier for the stakeholders also to protect you.
I think that for fintech specifically, we are starting to learn from the experiences we're seeing. There are a lot of fintechs that are already doing quite a lot to it. I joined Vanguard Newspapers acquisition, and I can see that I can see a stronger, robust compliance system, a stronger, robust fraud monitoring team that is ensuring that, and doing things that I haven't seen before, things like looking into the dark web and checking how we protect ourselves against hackers and the rest, right? So there's a lot to do, and you need strong teams to do it. The challenge with fintech sometimes is just that it takes you a while because you need to raise that required level of funding to get to that point where you can have that team in place that can protect it.
The event was indeed an interesting one, as you saw, with different panel sessions, exhibition booths for entrepreneurs, and a great lineup of speakers. Next up is the Nigerian Beaches Chamber of Commerce Energy Group Conference, which held at the NBCC Plaza, Lekki Phase 1, Lagos. The event saw a plethora of speakers who are well grounded in the power sector share insights on the status of the country in innovation, transition, opportunities and challenges of renewable energy in Nigeria and how it can be further improved.
Depending on whether or not the residents want to own the assets, or whether, similar to the way we pay for, we consume and pay for power today, whether they don't want to own the assets and just pay for the power they consume. You've got your outright purchase options, you've got your lease to own, and you've got your power as a service. And we find that a lot of consumers in the commercial, in the urban space, tend to, opt for the lease to own and the power as a service. There are options for financing the outright purchase with your commercial banks, if you like, but also increasingly a number of the operators in our portfolio are offering some of these financing options to consumers as well, to the extent they themselves are able to get funded, obviously at reasonable rates. So there are options out there. I'll definitely be happy to explore this further. Bear in mind, we are the investor to the operators, so there may be a conversation to have directly with the operators. Maintenance, ongoing maintenance for the equipment, like you said, is moderate. We've seen that our companies provide, I think, maybe the first year is free, and then you've got some biannual or annual follow-ups, to make sure that battery levels are fine, that the panels are cleaned, especially during the Hamilton dusty periods and what have you. But then the costs associated with these follow-up checks as well are quite manageable.
Going on recycling and the reuse of organic waste, and one of the reuse of organic waste is to use it to generate electricity. All right, so work is going on in all these areas, even beyond the biomass. We're also talking about thermal energy, tapping from the heat from the earth, right? And we also look at the tidal, energy that we can also get from the sea. Like Lagos State, we have beaches around us, where we have good tides, right? That we can trap, energy from them. And I can also tell you that even when you talk about the wind energy now, technology is not, they have bladeless wind, what do we call it now? Yeah, that traps, wind by its vibration. You see, technology is ongoing in all these areas. People are researching into the use of these various natural resources that we have all around us to generate electricity. I can just assure you that work is ongoing.
One of the things we are doing is that we are partnering with renewable energy developers who are very willing today to take on that upfront investment cost of installation. And what that simply then does for the end user, as the customer, is that we are able to blend that cost with our current cost and then apply that in a tariff. But then it takes longer for the customer to, because they're paying for, it's applied in their tariff, they don't have to worry about that upfront cost themselves, but they're paying for that cost over time in the tariff, which might be a little bit more, but they're not worried about, or at least they're not bogged down with the burden of having to do that upfront. In closing, for me, I just would like to reiterate that the transition to renewable energy is an imperative for a sustainable future in Nigeria. There's no doubt about that. And I think that so long as we have data-driven strategies, have a collaborative mindset, and just have collaborative partnerships with supportive policies from both the government and, of course, our regulators, I think we can collectively usher in this era of clean and renewable, reliable energy for Nigeria. And I think we can do this together.
Thank you very much, Sele. We have listened, and the Nigeria British Chamber of Commerce also appreciate your contribution today. It's an ongoing discourse, and you have set the ball rolling. And I'm sure that when we get all the materials digested, we are going to start this journey on a firmer footing. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for honoring us with your presence and sharing with us some of those very interesting insights into renewable energy. I'm very much interested in the fleet of renewable energy trucks that you are deploying. That will help a lot. And I'm sure that it is an initiative that others will want to copy. So once again, thank you for coming. And the NBCC would like to appreciate your contribution today with this token.
Thank you.
Yet another time that I'll be presenting a gift from the NBCC to Rolake. And why so? Because she's been very supportive. All right. Thank you for the masterful way that you handled today's session. And hopefully, we are going to be seeing more of her, because that's part of the commitment that we got from her. Thank you very much for a job well done, and we want to appreciate you.
Great insights, information, and the setting of agendas for innovations to come in the Nigerian energy sector, just as it obtains in other climes. We hope to see the Nigerian energy sector develop its renewable energy for a sustainable economy. Now let's go witness the FSDH Asset Management Investment webinar themed Leveraging the Rise of Digital Investment Platforms, which held on Thursday, August 24th, 2023.
Without much ado, I would just start. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's webinar focused on the transformative topic of leveraging the rise of digital investment platforms. And we're gathered to explore the immense opportunities that these platforms present for collaboration, for innovation, and for market growth. Digital investment platforms have reshaped the financial arena, democratizing access to investment opportunities and opening doors for both seasoned investors and newcomers. This virtual gathering marks a unique moment where financial institutions and fintech disruptors can unite. And with their strengths, we can work together to create a financial landscape that's more inclusive and efficient than ever. Our time together, we're going to delve into the potential collaborations that may elevate the financial sector. We can establish financial institutions, bring wealth of experience, regulatory knowledge, and client relationships, while agile fintech startups contribute innovation, technology prowess, and fresh perspective to investment. Together, these partnerships have the power to reshape the industry and offer investors a broader array of products and services. With digital platforms, financial institutions can diversify their offerings, presenting clients with a wide range of investment options. These platforms also provide a fertile ground for development of new products that cater to various risk profiles and investment goals. As a result, investors can customize their portfolios in alignment with their unique aspirations and risk tolerances. Furthermore, the rise of digital investment platforms contributes to the deepening of financial markets. The increased engagement from retail investors coupled with data-driven insights enhances market liquidity and efficiency. This virtuous cycle not only attracts more participants, but also fosters an environment where innovation and growth flourish. As we engage in this webinar, let's reflect on the significance of collaboration and adaptation in the rapidly evolving landscape. The digital era demands that we collectively embrace change. We harness technology and collaborate to drive our financial systems forward. Through open dialogue, shared knowledge, mutual respect, we can harness the potential of digital investment platforms to shape a more inclusive and robust financial future. So I would like to welcome everybody once again, and thank you for joining us for this dynamic discussion. I'm excited to witness what is likely to come out of this seminar.
So I wanted to just highlight for our listeners, right, what specific advantages do the digital investment platform offer to investors compared to traditional method of investing? I know you highlighted a bit in your presentation, but we just want to reiterate at that point now.
Okay, so I think I will approach that from two dimensions. The first is that there are a lot of similarities, right? Because for the fact that we have a lot of digital investment platforms today doesn't mean we didn't have stocks in the past, or we didn't have fixed income in the past. So the underlying assets are largely the same, right? You have stocks in the digital investment platform, and you have stocks. Mutual fund is mutual fund anywhere. Stocks are stocks anywhere. Fixed income anywhere. The only thing you can say is that probably in recent times, we are seeing the development of what looks like a new asset class, depending on who you ask, like say crypto, right? But again, it's still a subject of regulatory scrutiny, whether you can adequately classify crypto as a new asset class or not. But if you take out crypto from the equation, largely the underlying assets are the same. What is different is the channel of delivery and the experiences that customers have. So from a macro standpoint, what's the one major advantage that a digital investment platform provides is inclusion, right? Because you're leveraging technology to serve people, you have the opportunity to reach out to millions of people. You have the opportunity to scale significantly without necessarily increasing your head counts if you are to use the legacy approach, right? So that is one. So that inclusion is extremely important because it defines the kind of economic prosperity that an average person has access to.
And that'll be all for the events highlight on the week in business for the week. But before we go, let's quickly take a look at the events happening in the coming week. And don't forget to save the dates. All right, that's it on today's episode of The Week in Business. Thank you very much for watching. For more business, finance, and economy content, follow us on all our social media platforms at WebTVNigeria and visit our website www.poshare.co. Thank you once again for watching. I am Taiwo Akinawo. See you next week. Enjoy the rest of your weekend and have a wonderful week ahead.